Posted by u/fresh_yam_7471. AITA for throwing out my child so they aren't a liar? Apologies, I do not want anyone I know in real life to know I posted this, so I am keeping details as vague as possible. If there is some information that is absolutely essential for making an unbiased judgment, please let me know and I will try to respond. I am referring to my child as S in an attempt to limit personal details. I am in my late 50s and have several children. This post is about my second oldest, S, who is in their early 20s. My neighborhood is very friendly, and someone is basically having a get-together every week. I was talking with the hosts when a close friend approached me and said she needed to talk to me urgently. I didn't understand what she was talking about at first, saying things like the importance of being open-minded and tolerant, but after several iterations it became clearer. S was telling people that I had kicked them out because of their identity as part of the LGBT community. I didn't believe this at first because 1, S had never mentioned anything like this, and 2, I was still paying for all of S's things and S is living at home after graduating college. My friend then showed me S's social media posts, where many people were congratulating S on their bravery and empathizing with dealing with discriminative parents. As a mother, there is nothing worse imaginable than my child getting hurt. I have read many terrifying stories of people suffering heavily from cyberbullying and social media scandals. I knew it people would quickly find out that S had lied. We have frequent houseguests and well-meaning but nosy neighbors, and I couldn't guarantee that my other children wouldn't get upset and expose S on social media, so I asked our maid for the contact of her brother who runs a moving company, and had all of S's things put on the sidewalk, then changed the password. All the doors of the house have a digital lock. In short, I made what S said true. A few hours later, S messaged me furiously, demanding to know what I was thinking. I said that I didn't want to make a liar of S, so I kicked them out like they had told everyone. S started screaming and crying that I was an asshole and that was different. Did I make a mistake? Edit. In the spirit of full disclosure, I am not on the autism spectrum, but due to an incident in my childhood that left me with severe physical and mental trauma, I have had issues with appropriate social etiquette in the past and understanding norms. This is part of why I think I made the wrong decision. And yes, S does go to therapy and has been going for years since middle school on their request. We started because S said they were feeling anxious about becoming an adult. Why I felt it was better for S to leave. While no one in my immediate circle, family/friends, has undergone social media harassment, I know several people in my second degree, friends and family of family/friends, who have undergone severe harassment for lying to the extent that some of them gave up on life entirely. I was present for one of those people's attempts to leave the world, and I don't want any of my children to go through that ever. I thought it would be better that people curse me as an unfeeling mother, than people curse at S for lying. I know S has a large social circle and should be able to temporarily stay with them. Is S homeless now? S has a sizable trust they have had access to since last year, and a strong social network. I do not think anyone will turn on S as long as they don't find out the truth. How did I know for sure it was S? Those posts included a video of S crying, so there was no way for me to deny it was S, and it was taken very recently. Would I be supportive if S was part of the LGBTQ community? Yes. Don't I care why S lied? I do care, but I am more worried about the backlash S will suffer if the truth is revealed. Now on to some comments before the update. Posted by Rainbow_Maker. NTA I am absolutely surprised with some of these comments. Your child is an adult responsible for themselves. You were supporting them, and they went behind your back and lied to several people saying you did things you did not do. They deserve to be kicked out and don't pay for anything at all for them after what they did. Actions have consequences. But all you did was enable their behavior. You should have posted the truth online so they could be called out for what they did. There are people that are really kicked out and living on the streets and have nothing. You do realize that you and your family could have been harassed because of your kids' lies? It happens all the time on social media. Someone goes on there and says something that goes viral and then people will harass the person the video's about, literally called her job and make up complaints, post fake reviews online to ruin their business. These keyboard warriors are ridiculous, and they ruin lives. Your child needs to know that what they did could have ruined your life. You basically let them get away with it and people are going to think that you really did kick them out. Lil_Red765 responded with, "This right here. I would have gone in, taken pictures of their room and then posted on that same post in the responses. Falsehoods will come to light eventually in one way or another." Danelle D responded with, "Agreed. Kicking them out was obviously the right move, but protecting their reputation at the expense of your own is either what you're telling yourself to make yourself feel better about retaliating, or a stupendously bad call. Probably both. Action, consequence. That's fine and fair. The rest of it really doesn't make sense. Enabling this behavior is bad parenting and also potentially damaging for you and your partner. Edit, L forgot to add a judgment, ESH. Update, thank you to everyone who has responded, I appreciate your concern. A few hours ago, S and my niece called me. It turned out that after I changed the password, S had gone to my sister's house and my niece chewed them out when they found out the full story. My reaction, as many of you have pointed out, was certainly impulsive and not necessarily the best one, but luckily things have worked out. S has been feeling very depressed for a long time but didn't want to admit it because, in their own words, my life is perfect, and it didn't make any sense. Their current therapist was clearly not helping, but they didn't want to change therapists because they had become friends. My niece says this is an ethical violation. S was finding it difficult to even get out of bed in the morning, but unable to understand why, which made them extremely self-hating. They started getting addicted to social media and saw the support and validation some people receive there. S began by posting small comment anonymously, but really enjoyed the positive comments, and things snowballed. S apologized profusely to me and has agreed to change therapists and seek help. Some of you suggested S and I pretend to reconcile so S can move back in without changing their story. My niece was vehemently opposed to this. She would have preferred S publicly apologizes and takes their licks, but given both the magnitude of the lie and S's current mental state, agrees it would be too risky. Instead, S will be deleting their social media account and going on a permanent hiatus. While it is not possible to undo the impact of their lies, S will also be donating 80% of their trust fund to various LGBTQ foundations that support youth who have been abused or kicked out. They will also be spending their remaining free time volunteering at such organizations in whatever position they need for the rest of the year. My niece has also insisted on stay with me for the next month to dispel any rumors. Now on to the last story. Posted by u/VioletPilot97. Boyfriend seems to actively discourage me trying to be healthier. In the last 1 year, due to my mental health issues and some medication, I've gained a lot of weight, 40 pounds. I'm finally in a place financially and mentally where I'm starting to feel motivated enough to exercise and eat better again, but my boyfriend tries to actively discourage this behavior. If I'm eating healthy or cooking at home, he will stock the fridge up with junk and unhealthy snacks that he knows I tend to binge on. When confronted, he claims they're for him, but he barely touches them, but I end up comfort eating every time I'm anxious simply because they're available easily at home. If I'm going for a run or home workout, he will come up with plans at that very moment. I know it seems like a stretch, but I feel like he has something against me losing weight. I tried to bring this up, but he laughed it off, saying I'm being absurd. But this legit happens every single time. Anyone has any explanations for why this might be the case? Edit, if it matters, I'm 24F and he's 37M. Now on to some comments before the update. Posted by Blarson17. The top 2 things that come to mind are: 1. He likes the extra weight but doesn't want to tell you. 2. He's worried about you getting in shape and leaving him. These are complete guesses because I don't know him or the situation. These are just a couple of common things that came to mind. OP responded with, he has previously made fat jokes about my body before I decided to get back in shape. Nothing that hurt me too much, but stuff that made it clear that he thinks I'm overweight. Posted by flat_lengthiness_319. He's getting something out of preventing you from changing your lifestyle. What do you think that is? My guess is he wants your self-esteem kept down to help him get an upper hand on the relationship or convince you he's too good for you, so he gets away with more shit. OP responded with, he always kept saying earlier that skinny or fat, he will always find me attractive. Initially when I'd talk about getting fitter, he would be supportive enough, but when I actually made changes, he suddenly started doing all of this. Posted by Pickle Cruncher. My ex tried to do this to me, not about weight, but telling me I look so much better with no makeup, hair not done, in pajamas. Oh yes, he loved how natural I looked. He fucking wanted me to look my worst so that he would feel more secure about no other dudes hitting on me. It's a control strategy for dipshits who are insecure. Well, dipshits. Have your goals, my dear. Strive for them, and if your partner isn't supportive, either explain to him why it's important to you and he understands, or realize you're in a relationship with a dickhead. It took me far too long to realize this for myself, so I apologize for my passionate response. I wish you all the luck in your goals. Posted by Iced Cocoa Mocha. No matter what the reasoning, he cannot sabotage your efforts like this. If he doesn't want to discuss what his opinion is, then you should be firm and tell him that it's none of his business what kind of lifestyle you choose to lead. OP responded with, "Yeah, I tried to stop discussing my goals with him, but he actively looks out if I'm eating healthy or working out and then tries to stop it. Even when he's cooking for us, he will take a huge portion for himself and then try to make me eat it instead." Posted by Kitty Boo Boo 2016. I tend to feel like my weight loss has challenged my partner to do the same. Maybe he just doesn't want it for himself, so the discouragement may not be about you necessarily but rather himself. Hopefully it's not a conscious thing, but it's possible he has a rude motivation. I'd first assume he realizes he could make some healthful changes and simply doesn't want to confront it, and you're sort of putting it right front and center. OP responded with, "He's way fitter than me though, and pretty fit overall. Always eating healthy and regularly working out." Now on to the update. First of all, thanks everyone for your comments and advice. I really appreciate all the responses. After reading a bunch of comments that mostly revolved around him trying to keep me unhealthy and overweight so that I'd always be insecure, and a few people suggesting he liked the extra flesh on me or has a feeder fetish, I had no idea something like this exists till I read it here. I decided to have an outright confrontation, again. At first, he as usual tried to laugh it off and said I'm taking myself too seriously, but then I broke down and begged him to clarify things while I was in tears, cause my medication has led to me gaining a lot of weight, but I finally have the motivation to do something about it. After a couple of hours of me crying and reiterating all of this plus my mental health issues that are worsening due to this, he finally told the truth. It's something I was dreading. He accepted that he has always been fascinated with feederism but never tried it out with any of his exes cause they've always been athletic and thought it would be harmless with me cause I'm already overweight. I was stunned and heartbroken. I'm not the one to kink shame, but this honestly does seem like something unethical and abusive. If not the fetish in itself, then definitely his approach to it. I completely lost it and yelled at him that how could he even think about doing something like this without me consenting or even knowing about it. He kept on insisting that I look better with the weight and that he wasn't open about it cause I'd react exactly like how I'm reacting now. He also said he wouldn't be as attracted to me as he is now if I became slimmer. I was speechless after a point. He thinks I'm overreacting. He's asleep right now, but I'm reconsidering this whole relationship. I definitely need a break, if not a breakup. I've decided I'm going to ask him to stay at his own apartment while I think things through. I'm disgusted and so hurt. Edit, I really appreciate all the comments here, and I'm going to have a talk with him first thing today and put an end to things. It's causing me a lot of pain to dump him tbh because I do love him, but what he did is so cruel. Thank you again for all the advice. I'm reading all the comments and they're all super helpful and something I really need right now. Edit 2, most of you are being really kind here, but those of you who are messaging me, asking me things like if I'm stupid or if I have any self-respect, are you for real? Also, don't expect any replies whatsoever. I've enough emotional trauma going on without having to entertain your cruelty. Now on to the final update. Hi, thank you so much for expressing concern. I spoke to him and asked him to pack his things and leave. He was upset, but he didn't flip or anything. He tried to insist that he will work on this and not do anything against my wishes again, but I just couldn't look at him the same. After a while, he became overly affectionate too, but I managed to stand my ground. Eventually he left. I have blocked him everywhere and called a few friends to stay over tonight.